Hi, today's good person to know is Chelsea Blacker. She's Digital Account Director at BlueGlass. Ever thought that your business was the kind of business that you couldn't promote because it was either heavily regulated, making it virtually impossible for you to say anything, or you didn't want to associate yourself to the business, or that it was so niche you just didn't know what to say or who to say it to? Well, think again, because Chelsea's talk covered 3 case studies where they had to contend with those issues and yet they managed to get fantastic results. The first example was of an industry that nobody likes to support, gambling. By focusing on poker as being a sport and on bluffing, they commissioned research to be done and their findings were published on Mashable. The second example was on a relatively boring subject matter, conference room hires, and because it was relatively niche, they had to focus their efforts on educating their target market, and so they got employees to do the blogging for them, turning them into the experts. And the final example was of the nutrition industry, which is heavily regulated, and the last thing you want to do is to get sued. So at BlueGlass, what they did is they concentrated their efforts not on what they could say, but what experts could recommend. So they lined up a team of nutritionists to do the talking for them. This is a really informative video because Chelsea just opened our eyes up to what you can really do when it comes to marketing. Judging by what Chelsea had to say here, so long as you have the right processes in place, there's no reason why you can't promote your business no matter what industry you work in. So I hope you enjoy this video and thank you for watching.
I put together here are 3 little stories and case studies basically of challenges that we've come upon at BlueGlass and how we've resolved them for brands that we're working in partnership with. And so I'm going to take you through a little bit of the brand's background and history, what the challenges were for their specific industry, followed up with the BlueGlass thought process and how we questioned their limitations to make those assets instead of kind of negative, holding back feelings. And then we're going to go through the resolution, how we carried out that resolution, and really focusing on results. Challenge 1, to promote a brand in an industry that nobody wants to support. Gambling! The European Commission urges health warnings for online gambling. That's not good when I'm meant to be promoting online gambling. So we came upon a new angle at BlueGlass. We focused on poker being a sport. So as a skill set, there are certain items that people are developing from playing poker that are very positive, like maths. Who doesn't like maths? Logic, concentration, focusing on the game, patience. And so we asked ourselves at BlueGlass, what poker skills are transferable to the general public? What is something that poker players are quite good at that the rest of the world would be interested in learning about? And the answer we came up with was bluffing. For instance, your eye movements tell a lot about what you're thinking. As a general rule, and this is general, if I were to ask you, do you remember what a campfire smells like? You'll probably look to the bottom left because that's where you're remembering scent. But if you look to the upper left, that's when you're constructing new visual images. If I said purple cow to you right now, you think of a purple cow, you're looking upper left most likely. And that's because you're creating something in your head that doesn't really exist. But if you are touching yourself at a table and you're kind of doing like a pacifying motion, or you're stroking your arm, what that's doing is actually reminding yourself you're calming yourself down because you're nervous. So we took this sort of research that we were learning about and we went to a proper researcher, asked for official help in doing this research to understand the benefits of bluffing. And so we came up with a piece of research that we were able to publish on the brand's website. So they were coming out with a brand new piece of research and they looked like the thought leaders in the area of bluffing. You target someone who's published something similar in the recent past, and you say, hey, we've got this great piece of research we've just created all about bluffing and about telling when people are lying. Would you be interested in working with us to bring this more to life in a way that your readers would be interested in? And behold, Mashable said yes. They were quite interested in it, and so we were able to move ahead with them as a partner in developing this piece of research about lying. Sure enough, it went live on Mashable. And what happened? We got 12,500 plus social shares. So that was a great start. But looking at this with my SEO hat on, I need to be able to show people back at the brand what kind of long-term value it had, not just how much social buzz did it get for a day or two, or like a week. The answer is that we went from having basically one link pointing back to the research on the brand's site to having 519 backlinks. And that's a great number to say, but the number that really matters is the number of referring domains. So we had 65 unique referring domains linking back to that academic resource. And so, our 3 takeaways are: find a universally appropriate angle for your content. Every topic, you can find a nice angle, even something kind of as racy as pornography. If you talk about safe sex, someone would definitely be interested in hearing about that. Or like, I don't know, there are a lot of options. Number 2 is to get professional researchers involved. Definitely invest in academics. I think it is a great use of time. The University of Leeds actually has a whole gambling department and experts and students doing research on these things. So really great opportunities there. And last but not least is that publishers are partners. So involve them as we're developing the content. Make B2B interesting. So this is about selling conference rooms. How do we make content around conference rooms sound interesting? And the answer that we came up with was to educate the target market. We really, for this brand, focused on incorporating their staff in this. We wanted their staff to become the experts and really use their event management skills to build content. We did use the blog as a resource where things could be a bit more fluid, a bit more funky. For example, on Training Zone, which I don't know if you use Majestic or Moz, but the citation flow, trust flow, and Moz domain authority score are all quite high. So we use their expertise in-house now to really promote them across other sites. Make internal staff into experts. Encourage them to be a part of the process. Number 2 is to develop the blog as a resource that can be linked to. I think promote staff as the content creators to other websites. Really shout about your staff and be proud of their expertise. Challenge 3, don't get sued. The nutrition industry is a really funny industry because there are a lot of people watching you. You can't even say probiotic anymore. And so what could we say? Because what we can't say is that nutrition-related products like vitamins and minerals directly create, so for instance, vitamin D unclogs arteries. You can't say something like that. It's not allowed. So we asked ourselves, if we can't promote product benefits, who can promote the product benefits? And the answer that we came up with here is experts. They can talk about their experience and how they used vitamin D to create a healthier human, but we can't say that. We hired nutritionists. We went out and we found nutritionists who did not have a very big digital footprint, but who were eager to try and build out their digital footprint, get more recognition, get more business through their door, and they were really on board to be a part of this plan. So, do no go. So 3 types of content that you can find on any site. Do, which is transactional content. Anything e-commerce related, you want people to take action. The second is no, so informational content. Wikipedia is obviously the ultimate example of this. And last but not least is go, which is navigational content. So Google, any search engine, any reference site is a good starting point for that. So the Huffington Post we are now regular contributors on the Huffington Post around nutrition. So many potential people out there who they don't know how to spiffy themselves up to look better on digital, but they actually have great resources. So use them. Develop your offline experts into offline experts. This is what I just said. And lastly, separate your transactional content from your informational content. The 2 concepts don't work together. You cannot have a site where you are trying to sell a product and then within the same page pretend that you're sharing real information about the product.